Right. Good morning. Today I will start the discussion about design science. Right. Already we have discussed about quantitative research methodologies and qualitative research methodologies. Uh, in design science, actually, we will discuss another framework. It is rather than a research methodology. Design science is a framework. Uh, First, if we discuss the difference between research method, methodology, and framework, right? It is beneficial to understand and design your research, right? Think about the research method. Normally, when we use the term method, we use a method, right? Or sometimes we say research methods. A method is something that it can be a tool or specific procedure to do a specific task, right? For example, we can say, okay, interview is a data collection method, right? Interview is a data collection method. Or we can uh, we discuss about sampling methods, right? It is a specific task to do a specific task, probably a small activity in research process, right? But when we go to the research methodology, a research methodology is it's a kind of guideline how to do a research, or it includes set of methodologies. For example, we discuss case study as a research methodology, right? Then case study includes many research methods. For example, if you decided to do a case study, then you can read a book about the case study or journal or any other guideline. Then they will say, okay, if you're planning a research as a case study methodology, then you have to do these things, right? Then when you go to the data collection, then you should refer to research methods. When you go to data analysis, then you should refer to research methods, right? uh, Now I think you will understand the difference between method and methodology. Methodology is a uh, high level description about how to conduct research, uh, including research methods, right? Then when we go to framework, or sometimes people discuss as a uh, uh, hello. Uh, Sometimes we discuss uh, research framework, or sometimes we discuss as a paradigm. Paradigm is a term, but I think it is better to say framework, right? Also, sometimes we discuss um, as a approach, right? Then when we talk about approach, we can use this quantitative and qualitative as different approaches. For example, if you say I use quantitative approach, I think now you see the difference. When you say quantitative, it includes many research methodologies. When you decide to do a research following quantitative research methods, you can conduct a survey, experimental, right? Or if you decide to do a research using qualitative approach, then you have to select a qualitative case study, uh, inductive thematic analysis, grounded theory, phenomenology, right? Ethnography, right? These are qualitative research methodologies. Right. Then when we go to design science, right, then we should understand the term design science as a research approach, or we use a special term called framework, right? When we say framework, it's not like a approach, but it is not like research methodology, right? Then when we say research design science as a framework, again in design science you can use either qualitative or quantitative research methodologies to conduct your research, right? You will understand this concept when we go through the presentation, right? Okay, right. If you have any question, please raise. You can unmute the microphone, or you can type in chat box, right? Okay. Here you will see two main resource or maybe two main recommended readings. This presentation prepared mainly based on these two sources, right? Today we discuss about digital artifacts. I think digital, I should not explain about digital, but artifacts may be a new term, right? Artifact is something, right? It can be, we will discuss in design science discipline, artifact as a special term. Normally we say artifact is something, right? Or thing, right? In here you will see in this, you will see a description. I think I don't need to read, but I will read, otherwise it takes time, right? In the same way that industrial designers have shaped our everyday life through objects that they design for our offices and for our homes, software interaction design is shaping our life with interactive technologies, computers, telecommunications, mobile phones, and virtual worlds. I think I don't need to explain. You know how Facebook has changed our life, right? How many people, not how many, I think if you think about yourself, right? How these technologies, these information technologies have changed your life. How many hours do you spend with Facebook or maybe with other websites, right? Okay, if we to sum up this in one sentence, I would say that it is about shaping our everyday life through digital artifacts for work, for play, and for entertainment. You know, like now we are talking about working at home, right? Now our working environment has changed by these digital artifacts. Now here you will see in digital artifacts mean digital things. It can be a software, it can be an app. For example, you don't need to go to a bank to transfer money or to pay an electricity bill, right? Now you will go to the computer and then you will do all these activities over internet, right? Then now it is a big issue. I remember when we were children, right? Parents forcing kids to come home because they are always trying to play outside. But now today I show a cartoon, right? It's about a parent trying to force the students to go outside because kids to go outside. A kid is trying to play video games, or maybe it can be a computer. He has his electronic gadget, right? And also for entertainment, right? Now we mainly select internet as an entertainment channel, right? Now here I want to highlight these digital artifacts are very important in our life. It can be in work life, education, or maybe entertainment. Then when we talk about these digital artifacts, information systems, computer software, or things, right? All these are designs, right? Then here you will see the design is where science and art break even. I think this is very important. There may be very useful mobile app. We don't use it if it is not user friendly. It should have a very good interfaces. The interface design is a science. Sorry, it is a science, but it's a kind of so we can explain it as a science, but we say it's an art, right? But the design of a computer software may be part of the science. We say computer science, and then we should link with art. Otherwise, people don't use information systems or softwares. Right? There are so many information systems, very useful, but they have not in a developed way that people attract. Right? Also, you will see another quote: "Good design is a Renaissance attitude that combine technology, cognitive science, human need, and beauty to produce something that the world didn't know it was missing." Sometime when we find a good design, until we find a good design, we will not realize that we should have that kind of things before. That's the meaning of this. This is my interpretation, right? Then, as an information system students, it is very important to understand that you are also involving with this designing. Sometimes you start understanding, or sometimes you are not understanding directly customers' needs. Sometimes you can start your own business, right? Then you start the designing process, and then you are going to design something that's very useful to users, right? Okay. Now, again, this is about a good design. Now here you will see. Sometimes you will see citations, that means references, right? If there is no reference, it is refers to the main source, the first source, right? A plan for arranging element in such a way to best accomplish a particular purpose, right? For example, when you go to our ITRC or our lecture hall, it is a design. Sometimes you feel uncomfortable, and then you think, okay, this is not a good design. If we should have a more space, or we cannot hear the lecturer's voice, or we can't see the multimedia projector's screen, right? Then you will see a good design. It's a plan for arranging elements um, in a way to accomplish a particular purpose, right? But design, we have to remember, the design is the instructions based on knowledge that turns things into value that people use. But these instructions not are, it embodies instructions making things. Design is not the thing, right? Now you are familiar with computer programs. Then you are writing a computer program. The design is the computer program. You are writing codes. But it is not the thing, right? When you compile, we say it is the source code. When we compile, we have the things that we need to develop or use. Then we can discuss about a good software. There may be many different type of definitions. But again, this is from the main source, Mitch Kapoor. He wrote about the good software, and he discussed about 3 characteristics, right? He compares software with a building, right? A good building, a firmness. We know when we don't go to a building, if we don't feel it is a firm building, right? A program should not have any bugs that inhibit its function. Like, I mean, if you feel when we go to a building, if you feel this can be broken, or if we are not sure about the strength, or if we think there's an issue, right? We don't go inside it. Also, we don't use a computer program if we feel there is a bug. I don't need to explain about a bug, right? If you have any question, you can raise, right? Then the second one is commodity. Program should be suitable for a purpose for which it was intended, right? Also, for example, like if there is a computer lecture hall, as I discussed, it should be should be used to conduct a lecture, right? Also, software should be able to use for the intended purpose. Then delight, the experience of using the program should be a pleasurable one. This is actually about user friendliness. Sometimes you feel you don't have stress, because when you do one step, you know what is the next step, right? Even it is a new software. Right, these are the three main characteristics. There may be different definitions, right? Then we discuss about research paradigms. If you remember, when I start this qualitative discussion, I introduced three paradigms: interpretative or constructivist, positivist or post-positivist, socio-technologist or developmentalist, right? But now here I did a small change, but ideas are same, right? Here you will see the same four beliefs: positivity, interpretive. I don't discuss all these because we don't have time, right? Because we have already discussed. But here I will introduce in our previous one. You don't have the third one. I discuss it as a separate, but I put in the same table. Then you will see design. I gave a new name: design or socio-technologies. This is the name that we discussed in our first discussion: socio-technologist or developmentalist. The ontology. Then what is the meaning of the ontology? Ontology discuss about the existence or about truth, right? Then we discuss in positivist a single reality, but here we discuss multiple, and also we discuss contextually situated, alternative world status, socio-technology enable. If we are going to develop a computer software to Sri Lanka, maybe Sri Lankan students, or Sri Lankan adults, or Sri Lankan young crowd, right? And also, if you think about Africa, or Europe, or US, or or any other country, right? Then you will see, when we say user friendliness or usefulness, these terms not are same, right? We can say, right, this is also within Sri Lanka. If you can show app, if you remember about the interfaces that I thought you also participated to this DHAP competition, right? Then we were talking about the interfaces. Mainly we discuss about the interfaces as a design, but although these softwares don't perform data processing activities, they illustrate all the functions, right? Then if we talk about the user friendliness, then when we show this in our presentation, we discuss about user friendliness, but if you show it into adults or kids, they may have different meanings about user friendliness or ratings, right? And epistemology, how we know about the truth, or how do we get knowledge? Knowing through making. This is very important. In design science, we are trying to make something. We will discuss later an artifact, right? We are trying to make something, and then we are trying to know through this artifact. For example, if we think about, okay, we are trying to know about user friendliness of LMS. Then the philosophy of the design science is, first we develop something related to LMS, and then we will test it. First we will identify the requirement, and then we build it, and then we will test and evaluate. Then we generate knowledge through our artifact, right? That is the main difference between design science and other two positivist and interpretive paradigms. In design science, we are trying to generate knowledge, or we are trying to know through making, right? Therefore, this design science is, we can discuss some other characteristics. Information system studies or research has a close relationship with design science research paradigm or framework, right? Objectively constrained constructions with within the context. You heard sometime, we are trying to implement information system in Sri Lankan government institutions or Sri Lankan private institute, maybe a school or any other business, and then they are not in the success mode. The reason is sometimes these software has developed for any for different um, different context, right? That can be the issue. Okay, then methodology. Then axiology, sorry, the methodology. We discussed today also about methodology. In methodology include observation, quantitative, statistical, right? Actually, these are methods, but these methods represent methodology, right? Participation in interpretive. Design science, what is the methodology? In design science, the methodology is the development, measure artificial impact on composite systems. Suppose we are thinking about how mobile and apps can be used to enhance students' learning in mathematics, right? Then instead of just questioning or interviewing or observe, we can use this in design science. If you follow design science, you design the something, right? We can discuss what is the meaning of the something, right? But here I will use the term, you will design an app, or we can say artifact. You will design an artifact. This artifact can be an information system, LMS, or software, or maybe a gadget that interact with the information system, because we are talking about information system research, right? Design science is not only for the information system discipline. Science can be used in any field, right? Then we design and then, sorry, we develop something and measure the impact on the system. For example, we develop an app and then we will give it to students, and then later we can conduct a post study. For example, we can ask the students, okay, or we can have a test to understand the students' maths knowledge, or maybe we are not going to understand the maths knowledge, mathematics knowledge. We are going to, maths is the main topic, but we are going to understand how they entertain learning environment, right? Sometimes they will say, oh, it is very boring, our learning environment, right? You can select the mathematics or history or any other subject. Then you will first ask questions, what is the current situation? Thereafter, you will introduce an app or software or information system. Then you will observe, and also you will sometimes participate. If you participate, when we say it's an action research, right? Thereafter, after maybe depending on your application or your research, right? Maybe 1 week, 1 month, or maybe 1 year, right? Or after completion of a term, again you observe, or you will interview, or you will discuss with the selected people, participants. It can be students or teachers. Then you will ask about how the design or how the new development change your, maybe your activities or your life, or the question in discuss, right? Then you are learning from this development activity or the thing, right? Then axiology is like we discuss in other two paradigms, right? Then control, creation, or understanding. again, it's like, I think it is a combination of both, but most probably it is going to the interpretive paradigm, right? We are trying to understand there are some values. We create some value. Sometimes we are trying to control values, right? Okay, then research is a process through we attempt to achieve. Now here again, I think I will skip some slides because we have already discussed, but this is very important to understand the design science, right? Here you will see research is a process. What we do, research originate with a question or problem. Otherwise, if we don't have problem or question, people don't do research, right? Research requires a clear articulation of a goal. We should have a goal, right? When you are preparing a research question, you are trying to, you are making a goal. Also, research follows a specific plan or procedure. We are talking about research methodologies. These plan or procedures called research methodologies. Research usually divides the principal problem into more manageable sub-problems, right? Sometimes you will understand, okay, why students don't participate online learning. I will use the same research problem because since we don't have enough time to discuss new problems, right? There may be many aspects or many reasons. Then you cannot study everything in one research. Then you can divide it into sub sections, and then you can select one subsection to study. Research is guided by the specific research problem, question, or hypothesis. We have discussed these hypotheses, research question, and problems. Right? These problems and questions or hypotheses guide align to the research methodologies. Right? And also we accept critical assumptions. Normally we don't, we use assumptions, but assumption means we don't know until they tested, right? But we do assumptions. And also we need data creation in design science. We refer this to design science require collection of interpretation of data or creation of artifacts, right? We have to create things. Also research is not a one-way process. It is cyclical, or we say iterative, right? Sometimes we design something, test, and we identify some problems or some issues of the design, or we will identify, okay, we have not correctly identified requirements. Then again, we go to requirement identification. And then again, we come back to the design, and then we are trying to evaluate. Then the next is design science. Now we were talking about designing something or things or artifacts, right? Still we don't have a clear definition for artifacts, but think about it can be a software, information system, a computer, or anything, right? Then is design a science. When we design a software, is a science. Then someone can argue when an engineer or constructors build a school, that means building, it can be, is it a science, right? This is very critical or very, very difficult question to answer. But here you will see, we will discuss another same diagram later. When we discuss is design a science, you will see, you can compare, you can think about two perspectives. A design or science has, sorry, a science has two perspectives. One is whether it is a fundamental science. Yes, there are two categories, yes or no. Whether it is useful, low or high, right? What is the meaning of the fundamental? Fundamental means it generates the knowledge, right? Or whether it is applied knowledge, right? Or whether we are testing something that exists. That is the meaning of the fundamental no, right? But when it's a useful, it is whether our research is useful, if the usefulness is low or high, right? For example, natural history. Natural history, a kind of a research area. There is an example, bird watching, right? Someone can go and watch how birds behave. They will observe some patterns or something that is interesting and should further study, right? Then we can say it is not, there is no fundamental knowledge, or they will not create many new knowledge. But also it is not useful, or the usefulness is low, right? Then there are some research in chemistry, this Niels Bohr concepts. They are fundamental, very fundamental, but usefulness is usefulness is low, because they cannot directly apply to develop something. That's why, that is the reason, but it doesn't mean these are not important, right? They are very important. And also we can go to these Edisonian experiments. There is no fundamental value in Edisonian experiment. It is a kind of experiment about solar system, and it tries to prove already known knowledge or theory or suggested theory, right? But it is very useful, because people need to know whether this theory, or it is unclear whether it is true, right? But it is difficult without experiments. Then when someone do experiment, if it is, the usefulness is very high. Then this Pasteur's science, right? It's about fundamental, means there are some new things, and also directly used for applications, right? For example, how to treat silkworms diseases, right? It create a new knowledge, and also it save the silkworm, and then the clothing industry, right? Now here you will see when you select a project, right? As you know, now you have to do a research project. Then it is very important. Then you can select a different kind of project. Here you will see different. We'll discuss later. You can just go for this one. Fundamental knowledge is low and useful is very low. Or maybe if it is a project, it is better to go for this one. Fundamental knowledge may be low, but usefulness is high. Right. Again, we can discuss about, we can continue the discussion. There are theories and design principles in individual design domains, such as architecture, engineering, design, and software engineering. Right? Have you studied software engineering? Hello. Okay, sorry, I asked a question. Can you hear me? Okay, did you already completed the software engineering? Okay, yes, you have done. And then I will stop the asking question, because I don't want to change my mood, right? Therefore, I don't ask questions. And then I will go through the slides. I will just go through, I don't ask any question, but if you have any question, you can ask, right? If you have studied software engineering, you know about what you learn in software engineering, how to develop a software, right? But when you develop a software following the software engineering principles, it is not a new science because you are using existing knowledge and apply to solve a problem, right? Here you will see, but science of design will not emerge from these core domains if you just follow the guidelines of software engineering. For example, if you are going to design a software and then you learn in software engineering how to design a software and also in system analysis and design, or an engineer design a building, right? It is not a science. Right, but science of design is theory should be generalizable and applicable across a wide variety of domain and specialties. For example, suppose you are going to design a software and you will identify a new pattern or new design, something new in your design process or evaluation or maybe the user interfaces. Then we can consider it as a science. Right? Then otherwise you are just following software engineering guidelines or system analysis and design guidelines. Then you design a software interface, code, test, and implement a system. Right? Otherwise, we will see all these software developers as, we can say they are scientists, but they are not scientists in as we discuss scientists in this research methodology course. Right? Okay, as I told you, now I don't ask questions, but you can ask questions if you have, right? Because I don't want to waste my time, right? When I ask the question like whether you already studied software engineering, if you take about 5 minutes to answer, but not 5 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes to answer, right? I think it is not good, but if you have any question, please ask, right? Right, then what is design science? Uh, design science uh, design science research has defined in different in a way by different researchers. This Hevner and Chatterjee are pioneers in design science research. They define design science research as a design science research is a research paradigm. If you remember, I explained this term. This paradigm is equivalent to a framework or approach, right? We discuss quantitative research and qualitative research are two, not quantitative and qualitative. We discuss positivist and interpretive are two different paradigms, right? Sometimes we can't say it is exact, we can say it's wrong. Sometimes we say research, design science is a research methodology. In some research papers you will read design, you will see they discuss design science as a research methodology. But it is better to say design science is a paradigm or framework. Within design science paradigm or framework, you can use either qualitative or quantitative research methodologies. I will discuss and we can discuss in detail in the next few slides, right? Designer answer questions relevant to human problems via the creation of innovative artifacts. As I explained earlier, the artifacts are things, innovative things, thereby contributing new knowledge to the body of scientific evidence. For example, we develop an app and we say, okay, if you develop app following this way, following this rule or guideline, you will solve these issues, right? Then we say, right, it's a kind of new knowledge, but you generate those knowledge when you are designing app and then it is related with an artifact. The design artifacts are both useful and fundamental in understanding that problem. Our artifact is useful to understand the problem and also it is generates fundamental knowledge, right? Also they argue in the same paper, the fundamental principle of design science research, this is very important. The fundamental principle of design science is that knowledge and understanding of a design problem and it is solution are required in the building and application of an artifact. We are developing or we are understanding problem using an artifact, right? We building an artifact to understand or create knowledge. We discussed in earlier also, design science mainly concern generate knowledge making something. That is the main difference between other two paradigms, right? For example, in qualitative research, you go to students and you ask, okay, how was the learning environment, right? Okay, how you can improve it. Then you can interview. In quantitative, you will receive a questionnaire, right? But in design science research, we will build something and give it to students, and then student use it. Or sometimes we don't give, but we will give to teachers, and then teachers use it. And then we will study about how the new thing or this artifact change our problem or improve our the solution, or whether it solve the problem. If it is solved, we can introduce it as a general product or general knowledge. Other developers or other designers also can use, and then it will be considered as a new knowledge, right? Right. Then research in information system. Information systems, we discuss about how when we are building a physical building, right? Although we can see, like for example, suppose you hire architecture to build your home, and then engineers come and mason passes comes and they are making your home, right? Even it is a tangible product when it hand over, right? When you go inside, sometime you will see it is not according to the plan. There are so many things, then you will complain, and then they will fix later, right? Then what about the information system? Information systems are intangible products, right? Then developers write codes, and then when you use it, sometime think about our uh, university information system to process your data, right? Then the real experience will be completed after 4 years, because when we start a batch, it will take 4 years to really complete the process, right? Then it is very complex. Also, you can think about the bank systems or these e-channeling system or this flight control system, right? I think it's like everywhere will see examples, right? These are complex, artificial, right? These are not natural things, right? We are building these information systems, and we purposefully design these systems to solve a problem, right? Information systems are composed of people, structures, technologies, and work systems. Information system is a combination of people. There are people, structures. Then you will see how it is difficult when people include in systems. For example, when we introduce a system, it changes how people work, right? Then to understand information systems, we need to, here also we use the paradigms, right? But here the meaning is different. Behavioral research paradigms and design research paradigm. In behavioral research paradigm, the goal is truth. What is the truth? How we know the truth? In design science, goal is utility, gain and the truth, right? How it is can be used, so useful, right? Here you will see the interlink or dependence between the design science and behavioral science. Design science research can be used to generate knowledge. We can build something and we can check the utility, and it add value to or knowledge to behavioral science. Also, the behavioral science is a knowledge base. For example, like how people take decisions, or how people behave in this situation, right? Then design science research use these theories to design softwares or applications, right? That's it. These design science use this knowledge and also they contribute, right? And then when we design thinking, it is like if we go to design something, then we should discuss about design thinking. Design we can discuss as a noun, also as a verb, right? When we discuss it as a noun, right? We discuss about artifacts. Now here, first time I will introduce different type of artifacts. For example, like we discuss in design science, we are learning through artifacts. We make artifact, we use it, and we test it and evaluate it. These are the artifacts. Construct, it can be a concept, right? Or for example, when we talk about user friendliness, these are the concepts in to define user friendliness. It is a very basic level artifact. There is no, sometimes there is no software, it is not a software product, right? Models. Okay, we can, our artifact can be a model to illustrate something, a method, a set of instructions to do something. Instantiation, information system. We will install information system. Our final outcome is information system. For example, we can say, okay, how to develop user-friendly or interactive or attractive learning management system. Right? If we design or develop a learning management system, then we will see it as a it has instantiation, right? Or we can develop a theory. It is very difficult, but we can see it as like, we can say, okay, our theory explain how do you design software or information systems to reduce people's resistance. It is very broad theory, and also I don't know whether there's such theory. It's an example. We'll think a theory, it's like kind of a law-like statement, but we will develop these law-like statements using an artifact. Also, we can consider design as a process. We will build, design include a building, will mean something, building means not a physical thing, right? We build something and also we evaluate, right? If there is no evaluation, we don't know whether it is a good or bad, or whether it satisfy our requirement, or our whether it achieve our purpose, right? Also, design is a big problem, unstable requirement and constraint. In design science, if it's a very specific problem, we don't discuss it as a kind of a design because it is already there. We use existing design to solve it, right? If it is unstable, or if it is a new, or it is difficult to solve, then we design or we start a new thing, right? Complex interaction among subcomponents, or subcomponents of problem and result in subcomponents of solution. Inherent flexibility to change artifacts and processes. We can change artifacts and processes. Dependence on human cognitive abilities, or we say creativity. Right? There should be creativity, and also it is a teamwork. Design, especially in information system field, we develop system as a team. Right, then what is an artifact? Are not exempt from natural laws or behavioral theories. Artifacts rely on existing kernel theories that are applied, tested, modified, and extended to the experience, creativity, intuition, and problem solving capabilities of the researcher. Artifacts are something that now here you will see 5 types of artifacts: constructs, models, methods, instantiations, and theories. These are, we cannot say these are um, totally preformed natural laws or behavioral theories. When we design and develop theories for people, right? We have to consider these laws and behavioral theories. And also there are these, the meaning of these, here you will see a special term called kernel theories, right? Kernel theories means we use some theories when designing information systems or softwares or artifacts. Suppose you are going to, right, I would like to discuss this as a case study and ask questions and reply according to your questions. But unfortunately, I know if I ask question, you don't reply. Therefore, now I just will go through this as a traditional lecture, right? The kernel theory is, suppose you are designing, you need to design an app, mobile app, right? Like you had a competition about 5 weeks ago to design a user interface, but it is not only user interface, prototype to implement a few selected Millennium Development Goals, right? Then someone can just think about, okay, buying and selling business or any other learning, how there are SDGs related to learning. Someone can just think about, okay, we are developing an app for mathematics or science or English or history. They will just work with Adobe, what is the software? Adobe, uh, the software name is, what is the name of the software? Right? I forget it, but you know what is the software, right? Then you use this software, but it is not the correct way. If you are going to develop a app for learning management system or app, then you should first study about how people learn. Some theories about people learning, or how some theories about people thinking, how they learn in a specific environment, right? And thereafter, you can think about how to design a software to achieve this specific goal. Then you can, if your SDG is uh, about learning, then you should first study about these learning theories, and then these learning theories suggest you, if you are, when you are creating a learning environment, these are some principles or some guidelines. Then if you use these guidelines, then you are more success than the people who just start with the Adobe XD, right? They know only Adobe XD, they know how to draw the interfaces, then think, okay, we are developing a system for schools, but they don't know about how people learn, know how people generate knowledge or construct knowledge, right? Right. That's very important thing. Then, especially as information system students, then you should know about other theories when you are designing information systems, especially our students, because you are mainly going to design or identify, recommend, and design solutions, right? Now here design means you don't need to code it. There are programmers, software engineers, and architects to design the technical part. But you also can be part of this because you also study about the programming, but you have to handle these two professionals at a certain level, after certain level, right? Kernel theories means some theories that is related to that development project, but it is not the core, right? If you are trying to develop about mobile app to sell something, then maybe these economic theories, supply and demand theories, right? These are kernel theories. Right? Again, here you have a small description about I already explained about what is a construct, method, model, instantiations, and better theories. Now here it says better theories, right? Concept or vocabulary of a problem, right? Now, for example, this is not relevant, but you know, like today we are talking about COVID-19 as a new disease. If someone identifies some concept about this situation, it is also valuable, right? Then when we talk about learning management systems, you may design or you may understand some concept. We will consider it as a vocabulary. And then methods, algorithm and practices to perform a specific task. You will find new a new way to do something. Then models, right? We show something using a model. And instantiation, as I explained, we will create a system working system or prototype. And finally, theory. We create a theory about how to construct an artifact, right? How to construct an artifact. These are the design research guidelines. These are guidelines, right? If you intend to do a design science research, you should read these guidelines carefully, right? The first guideline 1 is design as an artifact. Actually, when you do your research project in 4th year, right? This session is very important because you have to design something. If you are not just designing a software, but unfortunately, as you see now, there are only about 10 students, right? I don't know then how the other 40 students are going to the 40 students learn, right? They can go through the slideshow, but it is not the way that you should learn, right? You should ask questions and actively participate, and also you can raise that. There may be many things not clear, but unfortunately there is no any comments or even answers if I ask, right? Then the guideline 1, design as an artifact. Design science research must produce a valuable, viable artifact. We have already discussed this. The problem relevance. The objective of design science research or project should be a relevance. For example, when you select a research, when you research a problem, it is better if you select a problem from the real world, right? Or, for example, like you are not just developing a system for a hypothetical school. You can go to a school and meet a teacher or principal, or you can talk with students, and then you can ask about a problem, and then you can think about, okay, how I can design something to solve this problem, right? Then otherwise design science is not useful. Then design evaluation. When we have a design, we should evaluate its utility, quality, and efficacy, right? And contribution. It shouldn't only just another software. When we design it, you should aware about the design process. Design and research must provide clear and verifiable contribution in the areas of the design artifact, right? Then you will see, okay, I found a new knowledge when I designed this software following these methods or these tools or these things, right? These are the results. Then you should contribute. And also research rigor means you should use uh, rigorous methods, very stable or firm methods in both the constructions and evaluation, right? For example, you can design and you cannot say this is a good system. You should evaluate, you can show it to users. Again, you can use, if you remember, you can conduct interviews or focus group discussions. You can demonstrate your software and then you can ask questions from your participants. What do you think about this? Do you see any issues? Is it useful? Right? Then it is not your opinion. You are collecting information or you are getting evidence about the rigor of your software from participants. Right? Designer search process. And also it is like search process. When we go to the research process, then there are some laws or some, we are not expecting 100% perfect laws or statements, but there should be some statement that you can say, okay, this is like this is like a guideline. Again, this is about guideline, but you have to specifically state at the clear statement. Communication of research. It will not be a research if you just do something and you know this will happen, but you are not sharing with others, right? You should present effectively both to technology oriented as well as managerial oriented audiences. Right? When you find something in information system, it is important for these technical guys, technical people, or professionals, and also managers, how to use it to technical people, and also how it is important to use in organization for the managers or the users. Right? Right. Then we discuss about 3 cycles of design science research. We discussed 3 cycles. First one is relevance cycle. Second one is design cycle. Third one is rigor cycle. Right? The relevance cycle means already we discussed about relevance. When we design something, it should relevant to the real world. Then how do we do something relevance to real world? Right? We should identify requirement from the, for example, like if you are trying to design, if you study about learning management system, so learning, help to learn, you should understand requirement from students or teachers from a learning environment. And also you should go to that field and test. Otherwise it is not relevant. Right? You can study and you are going to develop a system to Europe, but you test it in Sri Lanka. It is not a good, it is not relevant, right? And also design cycle. You build artifact. You will build artifact and also then you will evaluate it. In design cycle, you build and evaluate. Sometimes you evaluate and change to the building, change to the design, and then again you test. The rigor cycle is, the rigor, here you will see like you should ground on experience, scientific theories and methods. Right? Then for example, like when you say, okay, when I select a sample, I just didn't select my friends. Right? I followed this sampling strategy to test my software. Right now, you know about, there are so many projects to invent a vaccine for COVID-19. Right now, you will learn about phase 1 sampling, phase 2, and phase, not sampling, actually testing. Phase 1 testing, 2 testing, 3 testing. Then they will explain about what is the method they select. Then based on their, for example, like now there are some criticism about this Russian vaccine, but they can challenge these criticisms if they have a proper plan. Okay, this is the way that we design our research, right? We selected these samples based on these methods. and also it add knowledge to the knowledge base. KB means a knowledge base, right? When you do a research following this rigor, the following in a qualitative way and scientific theories, following scientific methods, then knowledge will can add to the knowledge base, not ad hoc knowledge, right? Okay, now I will skip these 3 slides because it's talk about these 3 things. I purposefully discussed the relevance cycle, design cycle, and the rigor cycle, right? Then the knowledge contribution framework. How DSR means design science research knowledge contribution framework. A guideline for positioning design science research with respect to knowledge contribution. Then here we will see a guideline how we can position design science research with respect to knowledge contribution. We are talking about design science as a type of research that contribute to knowledge base, right? 2 dimensions: maturity of application domain and maturity of solutions. In maturity of application domain means opportunities or problems. This next one, maturity solution, means whether there are existing artifacts. I will explain this later, but there are some difficulties. Maybe this is a subjective matter, and also we build something. But when we build something, it is not entirely not new, right? For example, here you will see application domain, right? Some fields are new, right? Some fields are new. Application domain maturity high means there are these domain. For example, what do you think about a supermarket point of sale development as application domain, right? Now everywhere we will see supermarket means point of sale systems, right? Then we can say application domain maturity is high. What about the learning management system? Maybe yes, someone can say yes, because learning management system has a long history, but there are still only few, right? And also solution maturity is some solution has solved. For example, if we think about the malaria, right? If we consider about finding a vaccine for malaria, right? It is a application domain, it is matured, and also solution, there's a solution. The solution maturity also high, right? Then you can consider like here, there may be application domain maturity is high. For example, like I will take a normal or general example. Think about how to build a foundation for a building, right? It is a very old technology. Therefore, the domain is very matured, and also there are so many solutions. Therefore, what we do is normally we apply existing solutions to domain. Therefore, normally what we do is we do routine design, apply known solution to known problems, right? For example, what doctors do, right? They know medicines, different kind of drugs. They apply to known diseases. It is not a research. We don't consider it as a research. Also engineers, you will meet an architect and or engineer. Then you will say, okay, my problem is I need to develop this home. Then they will apply existing knowledge, and then you will build, then it's like applying known solution to known problems. Sometimes there may be application domain is high, we know the problem, but solutions is low. Then there is a research opportunity, right? Suppose HIV, we know the problem, but still we don't have a solution, HIV virus, right? Here you will see sometime we have solutions, but we have we don't know the problem properly, right? Again, we have research opportunity. Also, we have a situation like COVID-19 virus, right? It is a new virus, and it's a new problem, and also there is no solution. Then we can say this invention. For example, when you start your research project, you can think about a new problem and also new solution. Then it can be a kind of we say it's kind of an invention in the design science discipline. Right? It is very valuable. Right now, I think then we can discuss about this research method framework, right? But I will stop for today, since you also, because this take another about maybe 45 minutes, right? Yeah, like maybe I have to discuss many things, right? But maybe 1 hour enough, but then I will discuss it in the next session. Do you have any question you can ask?